Okay. Now, balanced plates. It's my thing. I just love this concept. And about 5 years ago, I helped Bon Appetit develop what we called our InBalance plate. Okay? You'll see it in the cafe. It's denoted by the blue symbols. And basically what it means graphically is that half the plate is fruits and vegetables, a quarter of the plate is a whole grain, and a quarter of the plate is a lean protein. It could be a fish, a chicken. It could even be a lean pork or beef, but it's, not a heavy, high-fat, marbled, high-fat meat. And then it has healthy fats in here. And lo and behold, back a few months ago, when the U.S. dietary guidelines were revised and the new food guide pyramid revisions were set, look what happened. They copied me. They copied me. I didn't get credit for it. I'm teasing about that. But it makes so much sense to me. And I hope it makes sense to you, because do you have to know how many calories you're getting to build a balanced plate? But let me tell you, if you build this balanced plate, what happens is the calories even out. Unless you could go crazy and use a ton of dressing on your vegetables, or you could, let's see what else could happen. You could fry your chicken, but even if you had the portion, it's still not going to go crazy. These kinds of plates generally come out to a 600 to 800 calorie plate. Again, unless your plate's this big. If you're eating off of normal sized dinner plates, it works. This balance can also be done almost anywhere you eat. You can put this together at a friend's house. You can put it together at a picnic. You can put it together in the cafe. You can put it together at a restaurant. Now, sometimes you might have to think and be creative and order an extra side of something, etc. But it's an easy way to conceptualize what it means to get that balance in. And I encourage you to think about this most of the time when you eat. So don't think about foods as being individual components, but how do they work together? Because I'm going to tell you why this works in just a minute. There's tons of information now out there with My Plate being the new My Pyramid. There's tons of information about balanced plates on this website as a great reference. But here's why it works. Here's exactly why it works. And this does relate to the physical digestion and how you process these foods. So when you build a balanced plate, what basically happens is the whole grains are the part that actually provide you with the energy that your muscles and your brain uses. Okay? Your brain only runs on carbohydrates. It doesn't use proteins, and it doesn't use fats as a general rule in order to fuel and increase focus and concentration. The other thing that grains help do is boost serotonin. And the mechanism through why this happens is a little bit tricky. Basically what happens is that serotonin is made from an amino acid, a protein, and basically what happens is when you eat carbohydrate foods in a reasonable quantity, it allows those amino acids to be absorbed into your brain. Okay? And then your brain can increase its production of serotonin. That's a good thing, right? Yeah. Now, protein also provides satiety. So you remember our balanced plate has the protein component. It doesn't have to be an animal protein. It can be a vegetarian protein. It'll do the same thing. Protein is a more complex molecule. It takes longer to digest. So within the digestive system, protein kind of slows everything down a little bit and makes it last longer. So if you ate just a plate of a grain food, your blood glucose levels would go up faster and come down faster. If you ate a plate full of sugar, your blood glucose levels would go up really fast and come down really fast. But when you put protein into that mix, what happens is blood glucose levels go up much more slowly and come down more slowly. So instead of feeling really, really energetic and then dropping with sugar, or feeling, okay, I got a boost of energy and coming down in an hour or two, that energy level extends over several hours. And you get the serotonin boost that's a mood enhancer. Now, fruits and vegetables, consider those your kind of low-calorie, high-volume filler, volumizers of that plate. If you think about fruits and vegetables from a caloric and energy intake standpoint, what you have is like a whole cup of, say, a raw vegetable is only 25 calories. If you cook it, it has maybe 45 or 50 in it because it loses some water but maintains calories so it gets more dense. A whole cup of beans, on the other hand, runs almost 250. An ounce of protein is anywhere from 50 to 100, depending on what kind you choose. So while the proteins and the carbohydrates provide calories and energy in these components, if you filled your whole plate with them, what would happen? Well, your plate calorie intake would go up. Okay, so you want to use those fruits and vegetables. I mean, there's other qualities to them besides just being these volumizers, but that's one major, major function, is you can fill your plate half full of things that don't provide too much energy. They also provide fiber. They also have vitamins. They have minerals. They have trace minerals that are important. There's other reasons to include them, but in terms of energy balance, they are your volumizer. You can't really, truly consume too many fruits or vegetables. I don't know that I've ever had a situation where somebody told me what they were doing. I said, oh, cut back on your fruits and vegetables. Yes? Naturally occurring fructose in fruits should not cause a problem, even if you have, especially if it's in combination of this balanced meal. Now, I will say I have had clients who had diabetes who maybe were eating 10 oranges a day and that was too much, okay? But within the context of a balanced meal, I wouldn't worry about the naturally occurring sugars. Okay. Yes? I'm not a huge fan of juices. Partly it's personal preference, and I'll put that disclaimer out there. But one of the things with juices is that it does allow you to get a large amount of calories in pretty quickly. And so if you're using that energy, you're an exerciser or weight manager, it's not a problem for you. Fruit juices are one way you can get in some of that nutrition, but you do miss out on the fiber component. Okay. But if if it's a weight management issue and you're trying to manage calories, I think juice is one area that you want to look closely at, because very small amounts of juice are very dense in calories, even if they're not sugar sweetened, if they're just naturally occurring. Okay. We had a situation at my house recently where my daughter wanted to make fresh orange juice for her dad for Father's Day, and it was a great learning experience because she realized like how much of the fruit gets thrown away and like all the pulp on the inside, and how many oranges it took just to make a small amount of juice. So if you think about it in that terms, you do lose out when you go with just juices. Now, keep in mind that sugars, fats, salts, and refined foods all zap energy. So the more you can get back to these whole foods and away from these components, and I'm not going to tell you never to eat sugar. I'm just going to say, do you really need sugar added to really fresh strawberries in the summer, or are they nice just the way they are? And if you have to add sugar to them, are you eating them at a time that maybe they're not ideal to eat them? They're out of season.